Hello, hi everyone. This is Attorney Claudine Umuhire Gasana, the attorney at Law Office of Claudine Gasana. I welcome you all to our bi-weekly immigration updates. Today, I will touch on a few updates today. As you know, there's always new updates that happen every week, every day, almost. So I will touch on a few, and then we will dig into the topic of the day, which is I will provide a few tips on how to successfully obtain a B-1 or B-2 visa. Okay. So the first updates that happened yesterday or the day before yesterday is with regard to the extension of TPS validity. Is going to be automatic extension of TPS validity for nationals from El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, Sudan, Honduras, and Nepal. So those who have TPS from those countries that were expected to expire on October 4th, 2021, the automatic extension of the TPS validity will be until December 31st, 2022. That means if they are otherwise eligible and there's no any individual ineligibility, they will have an automatic extension of their TPS status. Okay, I'm gonna meet someone. Hi, Raymond Gray, thank you for joining. I have started a live video and the meeting's recorded. So I was giving the updates on TPS validity for certain countries that has extended or has been automatically extended until December 31st, 2022. Another update is regarding, which I already posted on some of on Instagram, is that so when you apply for a marriage petition and the marriage is younger than 2 years, or when you apply for the EB-5, those who are familiar with the EB-5 program, they give you a 2-year conditional green card. And after those 2 years, you have to apply for renewal or removal of conditions. So usually they will give you an extended status for 18 months. So as of September 4th, I think, the extension validity or the status validity extension will be for 24 months. So that's also good news. And I wanted to remind you, everyone, that for those who are applying for a green card, a lawful permanent residency card, there is a medical examination requirement for that you have to provide a medical report, which includes different types of vaccines and different types of examinations, medical examination, to see that you don't have any health ground related of inadmissibility. So starting October 1st, 2021, COVID vaccine will be one of the required vaccines. And because COVID vaccines, the Moderna and the Pfizer requires 2 doses. You have to have those 2 doses completed before you can have a complete medical exam. So what I tell my clients right now is that for those who are ready to file, who have already gone through the medical exam, to provide me with the documents as fast as they can, so that on October 1st, they don't have to undergo another medical exam. So that's another important tip or reminder, which I said last in the previous presentations, but I wanted to repeat, and I may repeat it again next couple of weeks, because the October 1st is coming. All right, so now those are the few updates I wanted to give. Now I'm gonna start sharing my screen, so you don't see me, you can actually see, read as I go. Okay, so let's see. Voila. Okay, so let's get into our bi-weekly immigration updates. I already talked about the updates, but let's get into the topic of today. So tips for visitors visa approval, or tips to increase your chances of getting a visitor's visa or a business visa. First of all, I will begin by, kind of giving an explanation of what is a visitor's visa, because sometimes you see B-1 and sometimes you see B-2. So B-1 visa is for business, short business, like you people who are coming here for a meeting, a conference, or to sign contract, to negotiate some deals, to like they say, some people come here to discuss different types of businesses, or some actors, sometimes they come here on B-1 visa to see if they to audition for a role in a film. So that's B-1. It's a business visa. Or you come here to attend a seminar, a conference, a wedding, maybe not a wedding, a training, or to if you work for a company and you are in the management team, you come here, you're the one who needs to come in and negotiate some contract and sign the contract and engage your company, open a company. Those are types of activities allowed in under the B-1 visa category. So, and then there's a B-2 visa. The B-2 visa, so it's for pleasure, to come here for pleasure, to visit a family, to visit sites, to go on if you're invited for a graduation, to come to that type of event. And sometimes actually for medical reasons, they give you B-2 visa as well. So what are the tips? So how can you increase chances to be approved for that type of visa, especially if you come from some countries that are labeled that people want to come here to stay. They have restrictions, or they have it's a unspoken higher standard that you have to prove or to meet. So number one, when you are planning to visit, of course, you have to be honest and complete and providing complete information. And I say this because sometimes I think I discussed that in one of my videos, that people will do anything to, put anything on paper to try to get a visa, and that will provide consequences in either short term or long term. So in all you do, be honest, provide all the information, the correct information, and then have a reason to come. You can't just wake up today and say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to the United States. You have to have a valid reason to come here. So the reasons I just cited, you're coming for business, you're coming to visit family, you're coming for a graduation, or you're coming to visit. But the visit, I will let you know that is very high. If you see in the next slides why you can most likely you may be denied a visitor's visa to come here to visit New York, for example, or to visit California, or to go to to Colorado, to just like that. You can most likely you'll be denied if you don't have some of the evidence that of ties, and like if you don't have a reason for the U.S. consular officer to believe, okay, you will go back to your country. So you have to have made arrangement of where you will stay and when and the duration of your visit, and you have to have ties to your home country, and you have to prove most likely to prove that you have traveled in other countries, and you have to have a return ticket. So now let's dig into the duration requested visit. So to come for a visit, I'm talking for a visit because sometimes, most of the time when you are coming for a conference and it's already set up, it's a conference, there's a duration of the conference or a seminar, you have a sponsor of the seminar, you have accommodation where you will live, for how long, and the funds, how you support yourself during the visit. Sometimes the conference, a seminar, training, those are straightforward B-1 visa. The visa will be issued unless you have some history of traveling to the United States frequently, and in the last 12 months or in the last 24 months you've come to the US, and then the US consular officer, or even when you arrive in the US, if you have visa, the Customs and Borders Protection Officer may think you are abusing your status, and they may return you back. So, but let's talk about someone who's coming to visit the US for the first time, and they are coming for a visit. So, like I said, it's less likely, unless you have come to the US before, to come just if you don't have nobody in the US. You have no relative in the US. You have no friend, mostly a friend in the US, and you don't have a specific period of time that you are planning to visit. And the officer will see, okay, what is your status right now? Most of the time traveling to the United States, it's expensive because the US is far from most countries, because the European countries, they have this visa waiver program, right? So we are not talking about those who live in Europe, unless you live in some of non-Schengen countries or not, like Eastern Europe. But the people like I have in mind are people who are traveling from Africa, traveling from Asia, not South Korea, because South Korea has a visa waiver program, like the Philippines, traveling from India, traveling from Pakistan, traveling from South America or Central America, right? Those countries that need a visa to come to the US. So let's say you're traveling from Africa, one of the countries in Africa. They said traveling from Rwanda, my country, right? So you are in Rwanda, somewhere in Kigali, Ngoma, and you say, okay, I want to travel to the United States. Okay, that's fine. So you go to the embassy. The embassy is going to look at, so do you have a job? Do you have it? Are you going to school? Do you have have you been going to wait, what is it? Do you have like a job to go back to? Do you have a family to go back to, which I'm going to talk in? Do you have any obligation? Do you have any obligations that, especially if you are young, that you will not go and stay in the US, because they know most people, and that's what I tell people, like the more visas they provide and people who come and stay, those people who come and stay in the US illegally, they block chances for the future applicants, because they will make more restrictions for people from that country. So if you have children, you have ties in your home country, are you in school, are you in how much money do you have in the bank, how much business do you have, do you have any property, you have assets that if they give you a visa, you're not gonna give away and stay in the United States. Like, do you have anything to lose, basically? So that's something they look for. And yeah, so are you involved? Are you someone who is involved? And this is like a general, generally what they look for. Now, you may have a specific or individual case or rare case where you had all these requirements, like you have a job, or you have a business, you are married, or you have children, or you have parents, or somebody really have strong family ties back in your country. You have property ties, you have assets, and you have even traveled in other countries, and they still deny you. So the visitor's visa or the B-1, B-2 visa, it's so discretionary. It's up to the officer. Sometimes you may not be lucky and find an officer who just doesn't like your case. And also, something I will discuss later, it's a matter of how you prepare that form. That form you fill out. It's very important how you prepare it and how you present your case. Okay, now this is a very, very important. Earlier we talked about someone who is somewhere in a country and just decides to travel to the United States. Even if you are invited for an event, you are invited for a graduation, you are invited by a friend, and you've never traveled anywhere. You know, and you are a young person. Mostly they really deny young people because of obvious reasons. Everybody wants to go to the US and they overstay their visa. So if you are planning to go to the United States, maybe you have somebody who's inviting to go, even you have a conference you want to go to, a training you want to go to, even if those, most likely if you have all the requirements, they will be approved. But if you have no travel history, you can travel. It doesn't matter. You have to travel to Europe. You could travel to, let's say you're in Africa, you could travel to South Africa. Now people to go to Dubai is easy. You could even go to China and go back to your country. So now if you have a travel history, most of the time, they will see, okay, this person is travels. Like they didn't just wake up and say, okay, I want to start traveling today, and my first trip is going to be in the United States. Because if that's the case, most likely you'll be denied. And if you're young, now if you are like, and depending on who's inviting you to. So if you are in the country and you have no ties in the US, you have no family member, you have no sibling, you have no parent, you have no spouse, and you just say, okay, I'm gonna go to the US, where are you gonna go? Well, I'm gonna book a hotel. That's a no-no. They will say, have you left the country ever? No, I haven't. This is going to be my first visit. So you're telling me you are taking your first trip to visit from Rwanda, let's just say Rwanda, and your first visit is gonna be the US. That's going to be, and then you're only going to visit. You could go for different reason, like a student, that's another visa, and the requirements are different. No, you're just going to visit. Do you know anybody in the US? No, I'm just going to, I booked a hotel. Yeah, so that's, most likely that's not gonna happen. All right, so now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is that don't book a hotel. Like if you book a hotel, well, unless really you are someone who used to you travel a lot. In your passport, you have so many stamps. You've traveled in all over the other countries like Europe and Asia, even other South America, Africa. You are a traveler. If you are a traveler and it's documented in your passport, yes, you can just say, okay, today I'm gonna have a vacation in Texas, right? Texas, welcome. Yes, then you will get a visa because you have a history of traveling. They don't have to worry you come and overstay. Okay, so but if you are planning to visit the US and you have a family who's inviting you to visit, that's good. Well, you may still be denied if you haven't traveled, or if you just say, oh, I'm booking a hotel, Hilton Hotel, and that's where I'm gonna live. And you have no history of traveling, and you have no ties in the US, and really you have no reason other than just I'm going to visit, or somebody I know, like a friend of a friend invited me for a wedding, or a friend of a friend invited me for a graduation. That's not gonna work. So, and another tip I wanted to give before I conclude this presentation is that if you have a family member who lives in the US, who is a citizen or is a lawful permanent resident, or he has a status in the US, have them write some type of an affidavit of support. Say, yes, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my cousin, or this is my sister-in-law, and we are inviting him or her to visit us. We have this event, and we'd like her or him to participate, or to to be here. And, you know, we will support this person. You know, there's a form, the affidavit of support form it's form I-34, but you can also use a regular form, like affidavit, say, okay, here's my, I am a citizen, or I'm a resident in the US, I live here, I have, I mean, I'm well off, I have a job, I have a house, I have an apartment. I will make sure whenever my family member or my friend is in the US, she will be provided accommodation, shelter, food, and here are the, you know, we are visiting this, like you have to give, okay, what is your program? And I'm planning to stay for this long. Most likely you will get your visa approved. So, and also, when you complete your form, if you don't know what you're doing, I will advise you to seek the assistance of an attorney, because the form, the information you complete on that form, that's the only information. Most of the time, the officer will not even look at your package. We not even look at your evidence you want to provide. So you have to make sure everything you want the officer to know is going to be put in on the form. So the form, you know, it's tricky because the form you complete when applying for a visitor's visa is form DS-160, and it's not a good form where you can put so much information. It's, you know, it gives you an option to say yes or no, to put in from limited information. But there is I think a space where you can provide the information, where you can put as much information, you know, to kind of make your case, because most US consular officer, embassy officers, they will only check your form, what you complete on your form. They will not even look at the documents. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they say, okay, let me see the documents you have. But most of the time, they may not look on the form that you provide. Okay, so that's, so I'm gonna, here is, okay, so here is, again, I like to thank you so much for watching. You know, I welcome tips, or actually, yeah, feedback from you guys. Like, what else do you want me to cover? Because I get so much, so many questions. How can I come to the US? You know, so and then from there, I would say, okay, some people have difficulty obtaining a visitor's visa. Do you want me to? So I think next couple weeks, in 2 weeks, I will cover the diversity lottery visa, because the registration is coming up in October. And by the way, I will provide my personal testimony on diversity visa. Yeah, so I will discuss on that. So please make sure to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So our Instagram is new, but most of the time, actually right now, during the week, because having a presentation like that takes time, I would just go on Instagram Live, or I would just put some message on Instagram, because as new updates come, or new policies are announced, I would just go on Facebook or Instagram and LinkedIn and post something, and then you'll be able to be informed as events happen, as new policies happen, instead of waiting for the 2 weeks update. So welcome to subscribe and follow us, and thank you for watching. So I'm gonna start sharing, and I'm going to check on, and I thank you. And I'm actually going to stop the recording as well, so I can see if there are questions on Facebook.